Two reasons. One, we know Richard Masereche, who is a great champion for Busiita, and I think he's an amazing asset to this area, and it's lucky that you have such a strong champion for this area. Secondly, we were already when we came to Uganda in about 4 years ago, about 2012. We had IREAD, which is the organization I represent, the Institute for Rural Education and Development. We had already started building early childhood development centers in northern Pakistan and Afghanistan. So I came here for a visit, and between Madame May, who's the donor of this school, and she named the school after her niece and nephew, Leila and Sami, between her and Richard, they convinced me that I should start in Uganda. But that did not mean that we came straight to Busiita. No. We went and we have built 4 schools in West Nile district, 2 in Koboko and 2 in Arua. We've built one in Kitatia, which is in Kayunga, and which is not too far from here. And then this is our first one in Busoga. In Bugisu, sorry. And we will continue to build centers in Uganda. We have a certain criteria on how we select locations, and Busiita did meet our criteria.
What are some of the criteria that you follow before giving out the funding?
The main criteria is, of course, the demographic. You should have enough children aged 3 to 5, under 6, who are not being serviced by any kind of pre-primary education. So the children have to be here. Secondly, there should be a donor for the land. We do not build on somebody else's land. That donor should say, this land I am deeding to the school. So then we've had a situation in Pakistan, I'll tell you, where another organization built a beautiful school, and the man who owned it came back, took back the school, made it into a hotel. We never want to be in that situation. So first, the children have to be there. The land has to be donated, title-free. Then we have to have the community very motivated. So before we build the school, we send out teams of people. In West Nile, we use the Aga Khan Foundation's program. It's called Busiita Early Childhood Program. Here we used Richard and some of his volunteers and the Rotary Corps, the Youth Corps. And we have our own people. They meet with the community. They decide the community is willing to provide free local materials. By that I mean bricks, sand, stones, aggregate. Also, the community must agree to provide free unskilled labor. We're not talking about people who do electrical or bricklaying or carpenting or welding or windows. No, people who will move things, will unload lorries, will carry the bricks. Because if we have help with that and we don't have to pay for labor, then we can build the schools economically. And the schools are not cheap to build. So we need community participation to make the schools feasible. So those are the 3 main criteria. And the 4th criteria, I should make it clear, is because we get donors from across the world, we insist, I read, that the donor who donates the school should have permission to name the school. That's 4 criteria for you there.
Okay, I would like to know the challenges you face while implementing the project, and do you do some follow-up after?
We will continue to do follow-up. The challenges we experience sometimes is we do try and interview and vet the local community the best we can. And they say, yes, come to Busiita. We will give you all the sand you need, all the matafari you need, all the rocks you need. Then when the truck comes and they have to load, there's nobody around. You make 5 phone calls, nobody comes. Then Busiita, we didn't have that problem, but we've had it in other places. Then when we come to get local materials, they only give us half the bricks. So we have problems. They will come to work, they will work for 1 hour, you give them some matoke, they all go away. They're waiting to eat. So we've had problems. We have issues with transportation in some areas. Some of the places we've built in, like way up in Koboko, it is expensive to transport materials from Kampala or from Arua. So those are some of the challenges, right? What was your second part of your question? Challenges and
following up.
Follow-up, very good question. I introduced just a few minutes ago a gentleman by the name of Masaba Michael, who's our new program coordinator. We have 2 ways of following up. We have a contract for some schools with the Aga Khan Foundation's Madrasa program. They will go in, they will sit in the classrooms and assess the caregivers. In Canada, in Uganda, you call them caregivers. I don't like the term, but that's the term the government has chosen. I call them teachers. They come and they assess the quality of instruction, how they're handling the children, and we'll help them. We do ongoing seminars for the teachers. Remember, IREAD hands this school over. This school now does not belong to IREAD. It belongs to the Central Management Committee, and will be helped with by the Nathan Masereje Foundation in terms of running it, paying the teachers. We don't own the school, but we do take interest in one main area of follow-up, and that is the quality of teaching. So we do refresher courses. We bring in people to train them, and then once a year we take all these teachers to a central location. In the case of Busiita, it will be here because they have a resource center. We can train other teachers here. You saw the classroom on the side with the tables. That's where we can bring teachers from other primary, pre-primary schools and train them here at the Leila and Sami school. But in Kuluva, Arua, we have a proper center. We can bring teachers in and train them. So there is follow-up on teacher training. There's follow-up on making sure that the teachers are trained and that the CMC is continuing to collect the fees, because we don't pay the teachers, but we make sure that the fees are collected.
Yes. How much time will this